Hi, I'm Chris Rollinson, and I'm going to show you how to paint this Nutcracker. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first off, I'm going to be doing the hat and the coat. So we need to mix a few colors first. So I'm going to take number 14 and number 15. I'm going to start with 15 first and then add the darker 14 to just darken it just a tad bit, a little at a time. It's easier to darken something than it is to lighten something up, in my opinion. Okay, just a little dollop. Okay. Good mix. It's kind of like mixing eggs. You just kind of want to go back and forth so you stay in one spot and you're not like spreading it everywhere. Okay. Need to go a little darker. Another dollop. Okay. And I think just one more. One more. Boop. Hey, mention down in the comments how much you hate mixing colors. Because this can be a little bit of a tedious process. Okay, I think I'm there. I like that. Okay, that side. Now I'm going to be taking one of our larger dome brushes, pull it back, swirl it. With dry brushing, you definitely want to make sure to not have like a whole bunch of paint on your brush. And I'm just going to hold this down, and I'm just going to swirl. Swirling, swirling all over the wooden board. Hey, down in the comments, how many of you are sailors watching this video? Don't worry, I do this all the time. All right, there we go. Get a nice coat on there. Okay. Now with dome brushing, you want to like start with light layers and work your way, like just layer after layer to create a solid image. Because if you start it out with too much, it has a chance of just seeping under your stencil and ruining your crisp lines. Swirling. Okay, that's done for now. We're gonna go here. Okay, there we go. Now, if you're a little worried about your lines, like getting a little muddied, we have this little tool here that you can just kind of cover just a little bit as you go along, so you protect those lines, and then you don't have to worry about the color seeping into the other part of the stencil. So, next part, if you don't have this tool, use a smaller brush so you have a little bit more control of where your brush goes. So now, like I mentioned before, I'm going to switch to a smaller brush because I'm going to be doing this really tight area. So I want to have a little bit more control. Right. So I'm going to finish doing the rest of these layers. I'll see you in a second. Okay, I'm very happy with that. So I like a little character and a little something that's gonna pop. So I'm gonna be using this this chevron stencil. You can find this on StudioR12's website. I'm going to use it to give our fabric hat and our coat some texture. I'm going to use a little bit of this lighter stuff, number 15. Steven's pointing, but I remember. Now, the trick with adding a texture is that I don't want to do too much of it. I don't want it to take over the piece. I just want to do just a light. It's like the light just capturing different spots. So just a little bit here. Oh yeah. A little bit there. Perfect. A little bit there. Come on, stencil. Up, up. Go. Yeah. Make sure to, and you can see just that little bit. Okay. Yeah, I'm just picking random spots. Yep. Okay. Now, you can absolutely do whatever you want. I just prefer having just a little bit of something. I like highlights, I like texture. That's just who I am. That's my preference, but you don't have to do that. You do your preference. Now, yeah, I still have to do that part. Okay. All right, here, a little bit there, and then I'm gonna leave that alone. Oh, jeez. Very nice. Now I'm going to leave this alone, but I am going to use this again when we get back to our arms. So I'm going to just do this a little bit. Okay. Because it's really cold where the Nutcracker comes from, so you got to have a nice coat. Nice coat. Okay, nice. That's 7. All right, besides this, I think we're good with our blues. So I'm gonna move on to our yellow. So I'm gonna start off with 33, put our blues in the bucket. All right. No mixing involved. I really love this yellow. It's just a nice solid yellow. And I'm gonna probably use more of a medium-sized dome brush when I apply this. Now I'm gonna apply it on the buttons here, and then kind of like the cords that you find on marching band helmets, I'm just gonna do this little area as well. And then the buttons down there. Flip that over. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. It's hard to put kind of like a darker color of anything onto a really dark background. So what helps me is I put just a light layer of either white or gray. I like using gray for like reds. The white I want to use for my yellows. So I'm just going to recycle this brush and use my white brush and just lighten the areas that I'm going to use as yellow. Okay. All right. That's really going to help with just getting a nice solid color. Okay, nice and easy. There we go. You don't want to get your white and yellow on a the nice blue jacket that you just worked on. Okay. But if you do, just paint over it. No big deal. Go there. Then I'm just going to take a smaller brush, smaller dome brush, okay, and just go. I don't swirl because I want more control with where this goes, so I'm just going to go back like just rub it in. Okay. Good first layer. All right, down in the comments, what colors would you pick for your Nutcracker? Are you more of the red and green, the blue and gold and silver, or camo for our duck hunters, or maybe just our hunters in general? Okay, I think we're good there. Now we can really start adding our yellow. Thank you, brush. Been a big help. Okay. So this is kind of what I was talking about. You see this like really kind of darker section? That's the paint being pushed away, creating that hole. So I have to make sure that stays nice and dry. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hit that with our handy dandy hair dryer. Just a little note, I like to actually have the stencil ripple whenever I use a hair dryer. It allows the stencil not to stick to your surface so that when you peel back, there's less tendency to like peel away your paint. All right, so now I'm going to take a little bit of our 77. I'm going to create a little bit of a highlight on our buttons. Because like I said, I love a project that just has a little bit of character and texture. Let's see, what's a good size brush for this job? That's a good one. Yeah, you want to make sure that you don't have a lot of paint on your brush when you do this. And you kind of want to keep in mind which way the sun or the light source is going to hit. So I'm going to say it's coming from this direction. I'm just going to softly work it in there. Now, if you do have a little bit too much, just nice light strokes. Oh. Awesome. All right, now I'm going to do these guys down here. We're going to go ahead and do our hair and our beard. So I'm going to take number 36. Take the little goobers off. Just do a little bit right there. I'm going to use a medium-sized dome brush. Now you may be noticing that I'm swirling it into my palm. I do that to break the excess paint off of our brushes and just makes them more flexible. Okay, there we go. So, I'm going to do another layer of this, and then I'm going to show you how to add just a little bit of like white hair, really make this Nutcracker a silver fox. Okay. I don't mind a little bit of the black showing through. That's just going to add texture. So, which one should I use? I think I'm going to use one of the bigger ones. I'm going to take some of our white. I'm going to show you right on the beard. Because beards don't just go like in a straight line. They kind of go in a fluffy type way. So I'm going to start the bottom. I'm just going to I'm just going to swirl down. Really get that texture of like the hair just getting the light. Okay, just kind of swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Okay. Very nice. Okay, now we're just going to do this hair. Now this hair is a little different than the beard. I'm gonna do just little like C strokes and just kind of go in a U. Oop, too much paint. There we go. There it is. All right. That is looking like a Nutcracker to me. Oh, so now we're going to start with our eyebrows. And you know what? Instead of that, I'm going to do our skin. Because if I accidentally get some pink in there, I can cover that up with some white. We're going to go ahead and do that. All right, I need some skin tone. This is number 64. Throw that away. Woo! There we go. Just a little bit. What I like about this painting process with acrylic, you don't need a lot of it. Like, I know I have, like, this giant pile here, but that's like mixing paint. You really just need, like, a little bigger than a quarter puddle of paint to really do a whole thing. If you need more, you need more. But generally the rule is don't need that much paint. Okay. So I'm thinking that even if I added a whole bunch of layers, that it's just going to match too much with that. So I'm actually going to use number 3. It's pinker. And then I can add number 64 on top of that, and that should even out. I'm also going to use a smaller brush because I'm having some trouble getting into the corners. Oh yeah, that looks better. More distinct. Okay. Ah, there's our hole. Didn't wait for it to dry. I'm actually okay with just using this one color. I think it really does it justice without adding another layer on it. So I'm just gonna stick with number 3. And that's what I really like about the whole creative process. You have an idea in your head, but then it could just end up completely different. It could end up just better than you ever thought possible. And I like that process of discovering what's going to come out. All right, I'm happy with that. However, I think he needs a little bit of rouge around his cheeks. Maybe at the tip of his nose. I'm going to use something of a natural color. Yeah, I think number 67 is going to do us justice. Now, any makeup artists, tell me if I'm doing it wrong in the comments. So I'm just going to recycle our brush. I'm just going to do a very, very light amount. Because you don't want it to start heavy on some rouge. So I'm going to just pick these two spots. There we go. Yeah, that's a nice natural color. Go. Okay, just a little bit. There. Now I'm going to do his nose. Because he's been out doing patrols and stuff, as Nutcrackers do. So he's a little sunburned from the snowy afternoon. Just along the bridge. Just right in the middle. Pick your spot. Much better. All right, I think we are ready for our eyebrows, our mustache, teeth, and eye whites. So I'm just gonna get us a nice base layer of 27. All right, back to the mustache. Now I'm kind of doing the same technique with the hair. I'm not doing circles, I'm just kind of following the shape of the mustache. Just to give it that nice texture. You know, I'm going to show you a different way on how to maybe do some hair swoosh. I'm going to take this this little brush here. This is the 1/2" Royal Filbert comb. It's just nice and fluffy, not fluffy. It has wisps, these nice wisps. Tap that out. Now, a little trick that I like to do is I like to paint on the Mylar to kind of experiment with texture. So I'm just going to go over here. And I really like that. It's just nice swoosh. And so I want to start here and just kind of... Now I'm just using the very tip here. And I'm just going to take a little bit more off. Make sure that it's doing what I want it to do. Just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Yeah. I might actually do a little bit of gray after I'm done with this white layer. Just to give it some texture. So, I'm gonna do my gray. Test it out. Yeah. So we're going to finish these eyes up. So, white of our eyes. This is number 54. Now, it looks like I'm running out of a little bit of room, but if you notice, there's this little bit of dry spot. I can just plop a color right on top of that. Ooh, that actually might be too watery. Do my little dance, shake my bottle dance. Now, let's try that. Oh, it's so much better. Okay. Go. All right. Give this guy some eye color. I think green is going to look really nice. All right. Go with a little bit of Harry Potter eyes. You have your mother's eyes, Nutcracker. Okay. Now while that dries, I'm going to work on this thing that I forgot. There we go. I think our eyes are good. That's good. Are we ready to go on to the next layer? I think we are. All right, here we go. Not bad. Crispy. Wow. Alright, so I only like to use about 2 pieces of tape. That's all you really need. Although this end's not really sticking because it's folded. You can get a new piece. Just take a little tiny bit. Boop. Kind of feel where the edge and the edge lines up. Pin it down. Alright, now we're ready to continue. Now I have to go back and remix some of that blue. So I'm taking number 15 and number 14. I'm going to mix that up. So we're going to finish our sleeve here. Now I do have this little bit up here that I need to repaint. But once I get a majority of this done, I'm just going to scoot this stencil up and just finish it off. So I'm not going all the way up. This is a feathering technique. What I should have done with the first layer was do a feathered technique at the end so it merged better together when I did this part. I could have started solid at the top and then just feathered and did a lighter layer at the bottom. But you live, you learn. All right. So now I just have this little bit. And then I'm just going to shift our stencil to finish this part off. Okay. Okay. Now you do want to be careful with your lines now because you have it skewed and it's a little harder to fix when you have to paint on the bridge. So be very careful. All right. So we're gonna go back and use our little texture. We're gonna use number 15. All right. Then we're just gonna do it here, a little bit of there. Okay. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm just going to do right on the blue down at the lower sleeve. Very nice. Now the best part about this thing is that I'm not being really exact with it because it's just so like sporadic. I mean, keep it in the same direction, but you don't really have to worry about like lining it up. So now I'm actually going to take more of the 15 and I'm going to do a light blue on these pants. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to use 15. I'm going to use 73. All right, in the comments, should I give the Nutcracker leopard print tights? Just a thought. All right, new brush. Right. Because yeah, you can buy all of these like textures, patterns at our StudioR12 website, and you can just add to this product. I mean, art is amazing. Your mind is amazing. Do whatever you want with it as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. While we wait for that to dry, grab another brush. And we could probably do our belt buckle and then our sleeve cuffs. I'm actually going to take, I've adjusted my process. I'm going to take 77 as our starter. And I'm going to use that base layer, so that darker yellow, that one, can go on there a little easier. Okay. Whew. Let that dry. Go back to our yellow. So now we're going to switch. Now that we have our base layer, we're going to do 33. And just recycle our yellow brush. There. Let's go ahead, take our smaller brush, kind of dab all the darker yellow out. Just kind of twist it and get all that out. And then we're going to switch to our lighter color, because we're going to do our highlight. So light source is coming from the left side, so we're going to just kind of lighten her up this way. Hooray! I'm gonna plop these back into the bucket. Alright, now to finish off this section, we're gonna do the gloves. And we're gonna do those with number 27, the brightest white we have. Okay, we're done with the gloves. Now we're gonna move on to the boots. Now, I saved this one so I didn't waste any brushes. We're going to go back to our blue here. I'm going to do it here and then along this path. Ooh. So this is a little bit too much. It's just too much paint on my brush, so I'm going to take a little bit more off. That's much better. Okay. Now we can work on laces. Oh. I'm gonna make those laces white. Okay. That looks pretty good. Oh, with our next part, we're going to just fill this section with gray. And I'm going to use number 13. Yeah, so I'm going to apply this base coat, and then I think I'm going to do a highlight on them. Just so that they pop just a little bit more, because it matches the background a little too well. It might be hard to see. Alright, so I'm going to switch to a medium size, and I'm going to use that same 27 white. Although I'm gonna wait for that to dry first. Speed things up. Now what you can do is that you can apply it to a wet thing and it would like blend easier, but just due to time, I'm gonna do it when it's dry. So I'm gonna make sure that I have a light layer of white. I'm just gonna let's give it a little pop. You ready to see it? Let's do it. Get that out of the way. And peel. Looky there. That looks really nice. I'm really proud of myself. Hey, thanks for watching and painting with us today. If you liked what you saw, subscribe, ring the bell, and just show us that you're interested. Thanks for painting with us.